Okay, so let's look at our x and y-intercepts. So these are pretty easy. This is when our line, our parabola, this is a parabola. This is when our line crosses the x or y-axis. When it crosses the x-axis, it's going to be an x-intercept, and when it crosses the y-axis, it's going to be a y-intercept. So anytime it crosses the x-axis, when it crosses this axis, the x-axis, the y is going to equal 0. And we know for our coordinates, this first number is always the x, the second number is always the y. So in our x-axis, the y is always going to equal 0. And in our y-intercept, the x is always going to equal 0. And so now that we know that, we know that when we get a problem like this, so 3x squared plus 12y squared equals 18. And when we get a problem like this and it asks us to find the x-intercept, so find x-intercepts, we know this y is always going to equal 0. So when we're finding the x-intercept, y equals 0. So let's plug in our 0. Now that we know y equals 0, let's plug in 3x squared plus 12, 0 squared equals 18. Anything times 0 equals 0. So this is going to be 3x squared equals 18. Let's move over here, running out of room. 3x squared equals 18. We're going to divide by 3. And we get x squared equals 6. But we still have a square. We can get rid of this with a square root. Square root. So x equals square root of 6. We can't break that down anymore. And it can be positive or negative, because whenever you take the square root, remember it's the number times itself. So like square root of 36 would be 6. Square root of 6, we can't break this down anymore, so we can keep it as square root of 6. So if we have like square root of 36, that could equal positive 6 or negative 6, because we know when we multiply negatives, it becomes a positive. So always have your positive and negative. And so our x equals positive or negative square root of 6, and our y always equals 0. So our x-intercepts are going to be positive square root of 6, 0, and negative square root of 6, 0. So for this question, these are going to be our x-intercepts. And the same goes for a y-intercept. So if this was asking for a y-intercept, we know that in y-intercepts, x always equals 0. And we could have done that with our x equaling 0. That's pretty much it.